Hey there, YouTube. Coming to you today from an absolutely gorgeous day here in South Florida. And when I say gorgeous, I'm not sure the weather could be any more perfect. It's about 75, 76, low humidity, and not a cloud in the sky. And yeah, I'm just soaking in and enjoying these nice spring days before the heat descends upon us and it gets brutal here in the summer. But anyhow, I just thought I would finish off the week with a technique I use to stay centered. Basically, what I'm talking about here is mantra. I do mantra work, and to some extent, I've done a little bit of this for quite a long time, but I've never had I've always kind of had what I feel like was a filler mantra. I had a couple of different ones that I used, but I just didn't really have one that I was feeling. So a few weeks ago, I really started putting some thought into it. A good mantra came to me, or a mantra that really resonated with me and worked for me, and I've been kind of using this ever since. And if you're interested, I would just say maybe go Google, go look up mantras a little bit if you really want to use one for yourself. Maybe get suggestions for choosing a mantra, because you really should, in some traditions, and listen, I do respect, traditions in meditation and different practices where, someone gives you a mantra. But for this, I just chose my own mantra, something, like I say, that was meaningful to me. I wanted something short, mine is 3 words. Maybe, like I say, do a little research into mantra and pick something that works for you, means something to you, and, just anyhow. Basically, the way I've used it all it is really, it's training your mind to repeat a word or a phrase over and over again until it kind of gets stuck in your mind. And when you do it to a certain extent, it can actually get in there so much that it's kind of like a track playing in the back of your head all the time. That's why I'm saying get something that you enjoy. This is not like having something unpleasant stuck in your head. I'll get to how it helps in just a minute here, but just repeating it over and over like that. It's suggested that you even maybe have a practice with this where you sit for 10 or 15 minutes and just simply repeat your mantra over and over. That's all it is, whatever your mantra is. I'll use one here just as a filler because I've used this one in the past. Just be here now. Be here now, 3 words, works really well. And you just kind of repeat it over and over and over and over. And the reason that it's titled as it is, how I use this to stay center, or you might even say I use it to come back to center when I've wandered away, is when this is kind of running in your mind. I've lately, anytime that I get that my mind is just all, having a conversation in there and I just find like chatter going on, I will just say my mantra, be here now. Be here now. And it just kind of brings me back to the moment, to the now, which is just, a further extension of my mindfulness practice, which is basically just boils down to living in the present moment. Everything that I have been, kind of studying or really uber focused on lately, or for years now, but I'm trying to get more intense with it, is just to be always living in the now. Not thinking too much about the past, not worrying about the future, but just living the moments that are in front of us and just taking them in. Like this morning, I was going to the gym and in traffic, and that's another time I use it too. Like if I start getting frustrated or impatient in traffic, I just go to my mantra, and it immediately snaps my head to where I want to be. Like today, I was driving to the gym. And it wasn't really a lot of traffic, but somebody, was kind of moving slow, and I was thinking about this and thinking about that. All of a sudden, I just kind of went back to my mantra, and I just, my mind, my eyes kind of saw the big picture. When I say big picture, I'm not trying to get into anything mystical here. It just kind of took in all the trees around me, and I just kind of was like, oh wow, these trees, they have root systems going, under the ground. And it's just kind of like, you kind of feel this connection to the earth just by like realizing this, or anyhow, you just kind of like, I go back to, it's hard to kind of explain because I'm somewhat new to using mantra on a regular basis myself, but as simple as I can put it is just kind of keep repeating myself. It just brings me back. It brings me back. And like I say, I think I'm just scratching the surface with this. I think after I have some actually focused practice of this, like, adding it to my meditation routine, I think it'll just get stronger and stronger as it goes. But that's all it takes. Starting to feel a little anxiety, I just start, I let the mantra start going in my head, and it just brings me back to that centeredness of being in the now. Everything is good now. Don't worry about what you did in the past. Don't fret about what's going to come in the future. And this little technique just helps me get there. I also use it in my meditation sometimes, kind of to drop into the meditation. It's like a nice kind of just to get me started, like as I breathe in, I repeat my mantra. As I breathe out, I repeat my mantra. And usually after a while, I kind of, there's not really a goal for me. I don't like to talk about there being a goal when I meditate, but I've been meditating, daily, regularly for coming up on 3 years now, just a few months from 3 years. And I'm starting to get these little glimpses of like, I go a little bit deeper into my meditation where I'm not focused on my breath. I'm not really aware of the mechanics of the breathing, which the breathing I also use a little bit like the mantra when I'm going into meditation is I focus on the breathing, or, recently I've been, when I first start, I'll repeat my mantra on the in-breath, I'll repeat my mantra on the out-breath. And then I usually find after a couple of 3 minutes of settling in that my mind just goes to an awareness. That's kind of been like a progression I've noticed lately. Almost like I'm turning the mind back on itself, and I'm just, I'm not thinking, but it's actually looking back in there to see if thoughts, it's kind of like analyze, is there anything back there? It's just observing, it's the mind observing itself. Or actually, it's not the mind observing itself, it's the self, it's your consciousness observing itself, because our consciousness, just kind of the way I look at it, is different than our mind, our thinking mind, that chatter mind. There's something behind that thinking, there's something behind mind that observes the mind, that's aware of the mind. And when you can get to that place of quiet, it's really quite pleasant. But it's not, I'll finish here because I'll just start repeating myself on things, but it's not just, like I say, for meditation. It's good for these practical moments, like when you're out and about. I try to now, even before I get out ahead of it, if I'm getting in the car to drive into town, I repeat my mantra a few times, or a minute or two as I'm driving, and then it just kind of settles me in. But anyhow, I found a good bit of peace with this, and it's just a nice addition to my meditation practice. And I just thought maybe some other people out there might find it beneficial to them as well. So anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. Y'all have a beautiful weekend. Try to get outside if you can, and if it's nice where you are, and I will see you here again real soon. Peace.